Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in the South as well as our online audience joining us through iHeartRadio. We're glad you all could join us as well. Well, there's a very special event taking place on HBO Max on Thursday, November the 19th. It is something a lot of us have been looking forward to ever since Will Smith teased it to us, that being the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion. And I'm so excited to welcome back to our program today Ms. Daphne Maxwell Reid. We're going to talk to her not only, of course, about the reunion that was taped at a very special time for them, but also what it's been like for her to reflect on the impact of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the great work she's been able to do to support the arts, and of course we'll let you all know how you can watch the special for yourself. Ms. Reid, thank you so much again for joining us. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, look, I was so excited to have the opportunity. So I want to begin, though. This has been, without a doubt, a challenging year for a lot of people. But you have been able to do some great things this year. I mentioned to you before we went on here, the work you've done to support the arts is something that people have admired from you. But also, as I said, this was a very big year for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because you all were able to come together to be able to do a special taping on the 30th anniversary of the original premiere of the show. What has that experience been like for you, Ms. Reid, to be able to reflect not only on your career, but the impact of that show and being together again?
Well, being together again was just a most joyful occasion. We see each other here and there, and we've been through weddings and births of children and funerals, and was wonderful to be all together for the first time in, I'd say 27 years, all together in one place at one time. It was a thrill. It was one of the most exciting things that has happened to me recently.
Wow. Well, look, I know I can tell just from the clips of, the joy that was there. One of the things that was said in the teasers that they've been releasing by one of the cast members, Ms. Reid, and I'm curious as to your thoughts about this. She said, she didn't realize how big the show was. When you were in it, did it feel as big as what you now know it to be?
You couldn't imagine what it is now. You really couldn't imagine then. I had done many series before The Fresh Prince, and I had thought they were a big deal. But this one is the biggest deal definitely because of Will. Will's giant personality and charismatic persona and business sense and just joie de vivre, I guess, is just a very encompassing kind of thing. And what we managed to do back then was write stories that were universal, that were timeless, that dealt with just the concept of family and a fish out of water. And they are timeless concepts. But with our family, we were able, with all the different characters, to show you different aspects of a thought process coming from very different personalities and how they all come together to form a unit and to make something happen for the better.
It was, my producer just told me it was actually Karen Parsons that made that comment about not realizing how large it was. And I want to say, going back, as you said, we've gotten to know you from a lot of great projects, even though, a lot of people remember Fresh Prince, but so many other great projects you've been able to be a part of. And then I mentioned, too, your continued support of the arts. Have you always known that the arts were going to be a part of your life in some form or fashion?
I believe that I instinctively knew, but I didn't know how I was going to make it into something with a purpose. God gives you these talents when you're born, and I call them gifts. And he gave me a whole bucket of gifts. And I have to manifest those gifts in order to honor the fact that I got them. And I had no idea how rich they were and how they would affect the people around me so strongly. So I'm pleased at being able to manifest the gifts that I've been given and share the art on so many different platforms.
I'm going to date myself here a little bit, Ms. Reid. I think the first time I remember seeing you, and this is going to sound crazy to our audience because they probably don't even remember this show, was WKRP in Cincinnati. And I think, thinking about that, I bring that up for this reason. You're known for sitcoms, but you've been able to do a lot of different types of roles. Is that kind of what keeps it fun for you on the acting front, that you don't always have to be the same type of character every time?
I'm just pleased to be asked to do anything. I've been really, as a black woman in this United States, in this industry, it's not a lot of choice that you get. Being an actor, you have to wait to be chosen. And you don't get to decide, I would like to get dramatic projects now. You get what comes up next. And what comes up next has to be great because it's a job and it's an exciting adventure.
Well, I tell you, you've been able to not only, of course, to entertain, but also to inspire. That was another one of the reasons why we were talking the last time around. I had the privilege of speaking with you, that you have so many people who look up to you. And then one of the things we talked about in our previous conversation that I didn't realize at the time was that your love of photography and how you've been able to share that. So, you have a lot of slashes behind your name that you've been able to do. Does it? I was going to ask you, does it get old? But I guess that's the wrong question. But, are you still surprised that so many people do not only look up to you, but aspire to have the type of career you've been able to have?
I think people look at the joy that I guess, promulgate. And the joy that I have for my life is contagious. People want that joy. And they think that it is because of the work that I do. That's just the way they see me. But my life is full of joy, whether I'm working at what they see or something that they don't see. The wonderful young people that I've been able to mentor and who have told me that I got them started doing something, or I said something to them that inspired them to pursue something, is all very rewarding to me. It is the purpose that I guess I'm on this planet. And I live my life with a purpose. And my purpose is to give whatever I can give and share the joy of just being alive and being able to express yourself in any way you can.
And again, what a gift that is. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. I have the privilege of welcoming back Ms. Daphne Maxwell Reid to our program today. You know her from a lot of great roles. We began this conversation, though, by talking about a big thing that a lot of you all are looking forward to, I know, on November the 19th, and that being a special that's coming to HBO Max, that being the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion. One of the things that we did get to see through the trailer, and you guys did a really good job of teasing us a lot to make sure that we're going to watch the whole thing, Ms. Reid, is that you talked about working with James Avery, and of course, is the quote that Will says in that commercial that we're able to see, I think, was one of those big things for people. They kind of talked about the impact that he had. What was that like for you? I know you all had, of course, dealt with his passing before, but what was it like for you to kind of get together and to talk about the impact that he had on your lives and on the show?
We got to share the deep, deep love and respect that we have for him. And he was a monument in that program. He was the backbone. He was the pole around which we danced. He was so loving and so talented, so professional and so well-trained and so giving. He was a marvel. He really was. I fell in love with him when I went to my third audition, and I got to work with him in the audition. And it was, we just clicked. It was chemistry. And I loved that man. And we had wonderful times outside of the set. He and his wife and my husband and I used to travel the world together, enjoying each other's company. He was just a giant of a person.
And I'll tell you, to have that kind of impact, and again, it shows, even in that 2-minute clip that we're able to see from the reunion, just the impact that he had. And I said this I before I mentioned that, Ms. Reid, I mentioned your own impact, and I think that says so much about legacy. And it's one of the things I think a lot of people are thinking about this year in particular, where we've lost so many amazing individuals who have been impactful in our lives in so many different ways. I think, as you kind of look forward, I know you're working on other projects as well. What keeps it fun for you at this point? You mentioned earlier about the joy of working, but what is it that keeps the work fun for you now?
It's the exploration and the exploration of other personalities. It's the exploration of teamwork. I love the teamwork involved with producing something and getting it to the masses. I love the joy of exploring a character, of challenging myself, of just working with other people who have as much passion to do this as I do.
Love that. Love that. Well, I have to say, after our first conversation, it's hard to believe it's been 2 years ago, Ms. Reid.
Wow.
One of the things that was commented on at the time, and I have to agree because I'm feeling it in this conversation, is just how personable you are, how real and genuine you are. And that, for someone who's had the longevity you've had, just like I know, people easily lose themselves in the entertainment of the business. What do you think has kind of kept you grounded throughout the years?
My family keeps me grounded. Come on, girl. Come on back down to earth. My husband told me many, many years ago, and I keep quoting this to people, but I have to attribute it to him. Don't let the successes go to your head, and don't let the failures go to your heart. Move on. You've done the work. You've done it with integrity. You've done it with passion. You've done it with commitment. That's all there is to it. Whatever comes out of it has to do with other people's opinions, and it really has nothing to do with you. So move on to the next thing. See what else you can do. Wow,
I love that. Great advice, I think, for all of us as we're looking through life and life lessons. Again, everyone, Ms. Daphne Maxwell Reid has been our guest. Thank you so much again for this time. Again, make sure you guys make plans on Thursday, November the 19th to watch the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion only on HBO Max. So check your local listings for that. Ms. Reid, I remember from our previous conversation, you weren't the biggest fan of social media last time we talked. but
I'm getting better.
Okay, so where's the best place for our audience to stay connected with you?
Oh, you can stay connected with Ms. Daphne, MSDAPHNE, and the number 13, and that's my handle on Instagram. Or you can go to Daphne M. Reid on Instagram. But I've got everything I do on my website at DaphneMaxwellReid.com. Come see me. Come get your Christmas gifts. Come get your Thanksgiving gifts. I've got all sorts of lovely things that I've created that you can share with your family.
Love it. Well, we will make sure we link that up for our iHeartRadio audience as well. Ms. Reid, again, congratulations to you on the amazing journey that you've been on, and thank you for sharing with us, and looking forward to our next chat together.
Oh, I am too. You have a wonderful holiday season.
Thank you. You do the same thing, Ms. Reid, and we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. Let's make today amazing. Take care.